Welcome to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. If you have any questions, just give us a call at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Hey everybody, this is Attilio, and I want to share a tip with you, Attilio's Random Thoughts. This is the art part of the show because we don't have enough art in the school system, so we're going to bring it to you in our radio show, but it's not that kind of art like Van Gogh or anything like that. It's more of like a nugget, a pearl of wisdom that you can use in your life right now. It doesn't cost anything, and it'll change your life forever.
So what do you have for us this week?
I want to talk about solace. I'm probably mispronouncing it, so Google it. And then don't tell me it's wrong. You just go find it out. But I think what you like about Google is that I'm like, sometimes I just misspell words and anyway, I just put it in Google and Google's like, oh, this is what you mean. It even sounds just like that. Sounds like my English teacher from 7th grade. Oh, no, that's not what word you mean. This is the word you mean. And so the word is it's the soleus muscle. And this is a big muscle that if you take a look at your heel of your foot and go up below the calf muscle, it's that flat muscle below your calf muscle. It's called the soleus muscle. And if you're sitting down right now and you're listening to me, what I want you to do is it's called a soleus push-up. Go ahead and lift your heel off the ground, keep your toes on the ground, put it back down. Lift it up, put it back down.
A little toe rise.
And it's called calf raises.
Toe rise.
Not toe rise, because the toe ain't rising, the heel is.
I know, but that's what we call them.
It's called a calf raise. Calf raise. So anyway, they found that even though this muscle only represents 1% of the muscle mass in your entire human body, because that is the muscle that you use when doing what?
Walking.
And?
Running.
But you're not using it while you're watching Netflix or when you guys all have one Kanak attack after you had Thanksgiving at your family's place. So, that muscle, when you raise it and lower it, this is all for, by the way, I listened to a podcast called the Huberman, the Huberman podcast, and he is a PhD scientist, neuroscientist that's all about health and the science.
So you're not just making this up?
Nope, not just making it up.
And you didn't just like Google it?
Well, no, I listened to it on a podcast, but it's called the soleus push-up. And so what you do is if you do that, if you're at a job or in a situation where you're sitting all day long, that it has been proven to, what it does is it activates and/or your fuel efficiency of your body. I don't know, maybe it's your metabolic rate. He never said metabolic rate, but he kept saying the fuel system, the system of your body that burns fuel. Because one of the things it does is it reduces glucose in your body, and glucose is sugar. And what happens to sugar, Adrienne? Do you know what happens to sugar in the bloodstream if it's not utilized by your body?
Turns to fat.
It converts to fat. So, speaking of someone that is going to cut the fat out of your inefficient property management process, he's like the Arnold Schwarzenegger of property management. Who is that?
That would be Kimhan of Hawaii Pacific Property Management.
Yeah. I was going to say Gene Simmons, but you probably wouldn't want that analogy.
No.
You're not the Gene Simmons. You're like, DeLaMille.
Newest, latest, and greatest intro that I've gotten. Thank you.
You're like the Arnold. You're going to pump them up and make it more efficient.
That's right.
Well, Duke does have a history in the bodybuilding.
He was a bodybuilder. Yes. I've seen the pictures. It's for real. But what you got for us this week?
All I do is build wealth in owners.
Love it.
A lot of owners debate whether to get a property manager. And I always say, why would you even debate that? Especially if you don't live on the island.
Yeah.
Why would you try and get a friend or family member to manage your property? They have no way and no experience in maintenance and fixing things.
Yep.
We have a maintenance department that works 6-7 days a week. We're here even on Sundays. They answer the phone till 5 o'clock. And the amount of maintenance calls that we get on our properties is, I think, 80 a week. We get 80 maintenance calls a week. So if you think you can get by without getting any calls or nothing breaking in your house, you're going to be sadly mistaken. There's so many things that a tenant has to deal with. And when they fix it themselves, you're in trouble.
Yeah, we've seen that firsthand.
Now, Duke, with the Hawaii Tenant-Landlord Code, I know that it's written heavily in favor of the tenant. I think that is, you got to, talk to our audience about that one and why it's important to have that property professional.
To be aware of that and provide service right away. What's the pitfalls?
Whenever you engage someone in small claims court in Honolulu and you lose, and let's just say you don't lose, let's just say the judge says, I find in favor of the tenant, even if Mr. Landlord, you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That means that the tenant wins and you, Mr. Landlord, have to pay the court costs and attorney's fees for the winner.
Ooh.
So I know, and if you read the Landlord-Tenant Code, there's so many vaguities in there. Everything's vague.
Yeah.
It doesn't say you cannot do this, or it never says you can do this. It says if you do this, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's so vague that so many people get in trouble. So what we do is we take pictures, we do a property condition form when we move in, and we log all the scratches and deficiencies in the property. So when a tenant moves in, he's not blaming everybody.
Yeah.
And we do an as-is addendum when they walk in, and they have to fill out the property condition form too, to make sure everybody's in agreement that the handle's stuck, it didn't open real good when you first moved in, and they can't blame somebody for that.
Duke,
blame is
you got to have proof.
Blame is the killer of all.
Blame
is the killer of all relationships.
Because how in the heck are you going to remember a conversation or the condition of anything from 1 year ago?
Or more, because sometimes tenants are in there for like 2, 3, 4 years.
I can't even tell you what I had for breakfast yesterday, let alone something from 1 year ago. So, Duke, I'll share this with you. We are listing a property for sale, and it was a for rent by owner. No pictures, no property checklist. So I just went to go meet the tenants and do a walkthrough. But I told the owner, there's really nothing. You
have no recourse.
You have no recourse. You're going to pray that the place is clean and they didn't trash it on the way out. And she lucked out, but it wasn't.
That's not always the case.
That's not always the case. But if there was,
by owners.
I said, you were very lucky, had this and that. I said, don't even go there because what about this? I'm like, unless you have it documented that it was one way and now it's a different way when the tenant leaves, you have no recourse.
Right.
So
we usually take 40 pictures to 60 pictures before they move in. And every time we get a new tenant and put out new marketing, we take all new pictures again, just to protect the owner against a who said, she said. When the tenant moves out, the new tenant moves in, and he says, hey, the front door is all scratched up. And we're like, well, it wasn't scratched up 2 weeks ago when we started to advertise it. You did that when you moved in, Mr. Tenant. So, people call me all the time and say, what would I do? And let me tell you, what would I do? I would get somebody who cared about my property, who answered their phone, who guaranteed evictions in writing, and work with them. There's so many people. I have 5 now, owners, who have gotten in an adversarial relationship with me after we've taken possession of their property, saying that we should have done this. And I say, you know what? You're welcome to go try the property management market out there yourself. Yeah. And they go out there. 6 months later, they come back. They go, "Oh my God, there's
scary.
No property managers that even answer their phone."
Yeah, it's scary out there.
I was like, nobody has a maintenance department. Only me.
Yep.
I haven't seen another company that has a maintenance department that has people answering their phones 7 days a week to take care of your maintenance.
And these are full-time staff. This is full-time staff. How many of them? I think 4, right?
Oh, we got, I don't know, 15, 20 people.
The other,
answer the phone.
The other thing I want to mention is you also have an attorney on retainer, not because you want to not because you want to be taking people to court left and right, but you budget for legal expenses just because it can be litigious in the property management world.
Yeah.
And owners have access to our attorney, not on our dime, but they have access to our attorney if they want to ask questions.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to share with you with all those pictures that you guys take in the beginning of the property management, I'm going to be pitching a new show to Hollywood. It's going to be Property Management CSI, starring Duke. Today we're at one house in Wahiwa.
What's sad is that you won't find out about how bad things are out there until it's too late. and you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So I do not take over properties that are in trouble where you're not collecting any rent anymore.
Yep.
You didn't do a background check on your tenants. Your last property manager moved off island and you decided to have your cousin manage it yourself.
Yep.
I hear all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I just say, why? You're talking about $1 million property average. You're talking about a $700,000 condo. Why are you messing around like this?
Be proactive.
So
be proactive.
That's right.
Not reactive.
Well,
be proactive and call Duke.
You got a property and you need it managed. Even if you're, hey, here's a tip for you buyer agents, all of you buyer agents. If you have a client that's looking for an investment property, after they making sure that they're pre-approved proof of funds, the second call you should make is just go get a rental analysis from Duke and his team.
There's a good 30 agents that contact me on a weekly basis that say, how much rent can I get for this unit?
Yeah.
Because they want to pitch that, just like you said.
Yeah.
They want to say this is a good investment property because a property manager who rents in this area said that we could get this kind of rent for it.
Yeah.
This is, I'm not telling stories. These are really, really smart agents that don't want to specialize in property management. Yeah.
The start of Duke's show is, there are many stories in the windy city of Oahu. Here's one of them.
Yep. If you don't want to be a story, just let me take care of your property. So
that's it.
Yes.
Simple.
Very easy. Duke's the easy.
445-9223 or hipacificpm.com.
That's it.
Duke's the easy button. Thank you.
Thank you,
Duke. Thank you. All right. Take care.
All right.
All right. So you can get a hold of Duke and his team by going to teamlally.com on the resource tab. There's the experts we trust. There's all sorts of videos that we've done with him. And
by the way, two things I want to share with you. First of all, I have 2 properties managed by Duke and his team. Loa is on one of them. He's one of his PMs on one of them. And then Michael Ablon is on the other ones. And the only thing I know about these properties is who my property manager is. I couldn't even tell you.
And that the rent just shows up in your account.
And by the way, I have an owner's portal account. So I just can log in at any time, see this, see that. In fact, I remember we was in Italy and was having on pizza in Napoli, and I got an email from Michael that the refrigerator beeped out on my studio over there near the University of Hawaii, and I said, replace it. And he said, it's going to cost this much. And you know what? So I said, only 2 words to take care of that. I said, replace it. And then he said, how much? And then I replied back, shoots. That was it.
And then it was done.
That was it. Well worth the money. I don't even know who lives there. All I know is the money shows up and they take care of the tenant and they take care of the property.
And one thing that we haven't talked about in a while is that Duke and his team offer a rent guarantee.
Rent guarantee? No way. What's that?
So basically they give you that price point that they will guarantee the rent for. And, you sign paperwork around it. Yep. And if it doesn't get rented for at least that amount within that 30 days,
they'll pay it to you.
They'll pay the rent.
Whoa, putting the money where the mouth is. They have an eviction guarantee. If they put somebody in there based on all of their criteria and they got to evict, they'll get that tenant out. And
and that's a pretty pricey process, is the eviction process here in Hawaii.
It's super easy. They get 2 big Samoan guys that show up at the door. One guy's named Tomua. No, that's the comedian. No. He's not tall enough to get him out. But no, we don't do that. But they act on it right away. I will tell you how many homeowners, because we dialogue with these same property owners, and we're like, how long has the tenant been there? Oh, 2 years. How many months back on their rent? Oh, about 14 months. I'm like, what are you doing? Here's the deal. 1 vacancy, 1 month of vacancy will erode all of your savings going with the discount.
So just hire the professional.
Yeah.
He's got all the systems and processes in place to protect your investment.
Robert Kiyosaki, local boy, wrote the most popular book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I think he has thousands of properties he owns all over.
Probably.
All over the United States. He's a multimillionaire. And he says, do not squawk about, have even if it's your first property, have it professionally managed, because you're wasting the most valuable resource that everybody has and only has the same amount. Time.
That's right.
So don't be a knucklehead and self-manage your stuff. I'm telling you, 999 times out of 1,000, it never goes well.
So speaking of time, We have some resources and tools on our website, which I want to remind our listeners about.
So what are they? Ooh.
So if you go to teamlally.com, we have a couple tools. So one of them will give you your home evaluation. It just you click through and you answer a couple questions. You can get a value of your home without talking to anybody.
No scary salesperson.
Yep. Unless you want to talk to us. I mean, you can click to
And we're not that
connect.
scary. We're not scary.
So you can get the value of your home. And then if you are interested in selling, you need to sell quick, we have an instant offer and we can be closed in 12 to 14 days.
12 to 14 days.
So another click of a button.
Boom, you're out of there.
Click of a button.
Now, let's say you got a home, Adrienne. Let's say you got a home and you're like, I lived there for like 49 years and I really haven't done anything to the home. I have a ton of equity in my property, but I don't have cash laying around to fix my property. Can you help me?
Absolutely. You know
and
what?
How so?
We have solutions for everybody, including that particular solution. But speaking of someone else who has solutions, we have our favorite estate planner, Amphay.
He is going to help you speak from beyond the grave.
That's right.
Who is that?
We have Amphay on to talk about trusts and estate planning.
Amphay, how are you going to help our people speak beyond the grave?
Oh, good evening. Excuse me, good afternoon.
Yeah.
I thought Halloween was over.
No. You know what is horrible? You know what is horrible? Passing away without a trust in place. That is Friday the 13th, part 9. It's terrible.
Scary.
So let's talk about
business.
That. Estate planning. First of all, start with the big picture. What? So you're an attorney and you specialize in estate planning. What is estate planning?
Estate planning to me is an exercise in your liberties. You know, when people tell me why does the government, why does the courts, why does the law want to get involved in all our affairs?
Yeah.
I go, well, even when you pass away. And I go, the way to actually avoid all of that and exercise your liberties where the government would not get involved at all is to do your planning.
Yes.
Now, I think people have a misconception. Like, they think that they have to have a whole lot of assets in order to have an estate plan. And we know that's not the truth.
And what would you say to that, Amphay?
Everyone needs a plan.
Yeah.
So I actually would argue that if you are, a modest income family, if you own a home, you have children, regardless, right? If you don't plan, okay, it has to go through this process called probate. I don't care if you're ultra rich or you just have, a little thing here and there or a house. It's funny, Adrienne, Attilio, people always minimize that, when they talk about planning and they go, oh, all I have is a house. I go, the house is the biggest asset that you can have.
Especially in Hawaii.
You want to leave for your children.
Yeah.
So
I think even if you don't have a house and you have kids or if you have a special needs child, the estate planning is extremely valuable.
Well, here's one of the things that I see firsthand because we work with a ton of clients that were selling because maybe grandma went passed away or mom, dad passed away, but then mom passes away. And then now we're down to the house, the gathering place for the entire family. And now we have the siblings. And I always tell you, every time I see this happen when they don't have a trust in place is that one, it's very rare to see the siblings agreeing on what to do. Number two, the content of the home. That turns into World War III. And then next thing you know, the house is just sitting and just sitting and just sitting. And it's this big battle. I have a couple clients. It's been going on for 2 years because of that situation.
And then, you know what? There's one in a Mililani Mauka that the house is listed, but it's going through the probate. So it's going to take a lot longer to go through the sale process.
Yes, because somebody is assigned by the court.
Yes.
And this is firsthand from the
agent.
From the agent that the offers came in, but they have no idea what's going to take place next.
Or how long. So it's just,
for you as a seller,
you don't need.
For you as a seller, that loses you money because buyers don't want to stick around. And that's not the answer they want to hear when they submit the offer over the weekend. They don't want to hear, well, there's no real update I can give you because it's in the hands of probate right now. That's what the agent sounded like when we were talking to her.
Yep.
No,
exactly.
she doesn't like that. But
the families don't get to decide that.
Nope.
You know, the court will approve that.
And I would tell you, if this was something like probate, on average, what do you think if they're just doing a house? How long is the probate process? And we're not going to quote you on that, but what would you say would be the average time?
Yeah. Please don't.
We're not going to quote you.
You'd be very. It would be very awesome if it was done within a 9-month to a year period.
Yeah.
And again, we're talking simple. Attilio, you talk about 2 years. I had a client come in and his grandfather's estate or the property, grandfather's house, it's 10 years already.
Oh.
Okay. And then
wow.
Now he has altogether, including his dad, 5 other aunties and uncles.
Oh.
It took so long that 4 of the 6 have passed away and there's only 2 left.
Yeah.
That's got to be like a record.
Local families fight about the leftovers after Thanksgiving dinner. You think they're going to have it all worked out with Grandpa's house? No. And the contents? Here's the other thing that I will share with you. If this is you scared to just call. We're like scared straight for people with no trust. And you got to call Amphay right now. Because here's the deal. The 9 to 12 months. If that was you,
best case scenario.
If that was you, let's call it a year. And I'm just going to say it, but don't quote me either. But let's say it took a year. If you go backwards in time 1 year ago, when interest rates were 2%, 3%, and 4%, the market completely shifted.
Yes, in the 1 year time.
In the 1 year time, while you were going through and dealing with the rigmarole of probate, whereas if you had a trust, you would have sold your home at the peak of the market. Mm-hmm. And made more money and had so much less headaches.
So just call Amphay.
Just call Amphay.
And you avoid the probate and the fighting.
You're like the Ghostbusters for people who passed away. Who are you going to call? Amphay.
Thank you.
I was thinking more to put everybody at peace.
Yeah.
Yes. He brings peace and joy to your life.
Because I tell you, I've seen it personally too with family. You start fighting at the gravesite. They're all like, hold my baby. I want grandma's wedding ring, not you. And then that's what happens with that. So, Amphay, one last question before we let you go. It's like $10,000 to consult with you for like 1 hour, or what is it?
It actually
First hour.
Does not cost
free
any of our families anything.
Yes.
We pride ourselves in educating families, and I don't care what type of planning you do.
Yeah.
Do a plan.
Do a plan.
And just meet with Amphay.
Here's
See if you're a good fit.
Amphay will come visit with you. He can do on Zoom. You can go to his office. You can also help people on the outer islands, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Amphay, for calling in and reminding our listeners about the importance of estate planning.
Do it now.
Thank you, Adrienne. Thank you, Attilio.
Yes.
All righty. Thank you, Amphay.
All right.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
So you can get a hold of Amphay and his team if you go to our website, teamlally.com, on the resource tab and experts we trust.
All right.
So I'm going to read a review and then we're going to take a break.
Okay.
So this review is from Cindy Means, and this is for Damian Thomas at Team Lally.
Way to go, Damian.
Good job. He did a photo shoot for my townhome last month, and the results were just stunning. They were so gorgeous, even I didn't recognize my own home. Yeah. These were not just still photos. Damian's expertise was apparent in every picture, right down to the lighting, angle, and sharpness. The final product were beautiful photos, an interactive virtual 3D tour, a video clip with music, and even drone footage of the property. He knows exactly what needs to be highlighted and what can fade in the background. Thank you, Damian, for all your hard work, dedication, and expertise.
Thank you, Damian.
Good job, Damian.
We're about to take a break, but stay with us. When we come back, we'll be talking with award-winning business consultant and best-selling author Richard Weylman. We'll talk about what an elevated experience is and how it is important in acquiring a business. So
stay with us.
Hey, Sean Hannity here, talking with the only real estate agent in your market I recommend. Adrienne Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally Real Estate Group of Keller Williams, Honolulu. So now that the market is normalizing again, how's that going to impact home selling right now?
Sean, let's explain what a normal market is. It's when it's neither a buyer or seller market. Both buyers and sellers have equal negotiating strength and need to focus on a win-win strategy to close. We have over 7 highly successful strategies that get homes sold.
So is now the time to sell?
Sean, the best time to sell is when you need to move. Stop trying to time the market. Smart people spending a lot of money try to time the market and fail. Again, the best time to sell is always when you're ready to move.
Great update. Thank you for keeping us informed. Put the most experience and the best marketing to work for you. Call Team Lally now at 799-9596 or online at teamlally.com. That's teamlally.com.
Taking one cash offer for your home doesn't have to be your only option. I'm Barbara Corcoran, and especially in today's current market, having a local real estate agent who offers great marketing and options that are customized to fit your needs is smart. In Honolulu, the agents I trust are Adrienne, Lally, and Attilio Leonardo. They can give you a guarantee to sell your home, flexible fees, or up to $10,000 in cash to help with repairs. Get the option that's right for you. Go to teamlally.com.
Welcome back, and thanks for listening to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. I'm Adrienne.
And I'm Hawaiian.
You're Attilio.
And Attilio.
If you have any questions, you can reach us at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Well, do we have our guest here on the line? I think we do, so I think you should read that intro.
Okay, so today's guest is a globally recognized expert who delivers practical, proven ways to acquire and keep clients.
He is a keynote speaker who always has a clear voice when he's on the radio. He has earned himself a spot in the Hall of Fame. He is also the author of 2 international bestsellers. Please welcome today's guest, Richard Weylman.
Actually, I want to say welcome back because he has been on our show before.
He's like Michael Baldwin on Saturday Night Live.
Exactly.
He's a repeat guest.
And we are so excited to have him back.
Yeah. Welcome back.
It's great to be here live and in living color. Good to talk to both of you. Adrienne and Attilio, thank you so much for this invitation. It's a blessing to hear your voices. Thank you.
Sure. Welcome. Adrienne, you got let's we're going to hit him high, hit him low. Get him in the first question.
Well, okay, so Richard, we know that we had you on the show and we talked about your first book, and I know you've recently just finished up this other book, and we're all very excited.
Yeah.
On this new and reinvigorated story here.
Yes.
So let's start with that.
Okay. Well, thank you. One of the areas that I focused a great deal of my time on is trying to understand what motivates people to do business with a firm and to continue to do business.
Yeah.
So we do a great deal of research, and I'm blessed I've got a great team. We research. We don't just send out SurveyMonkey. We actually talk to people and ask them, why did you choose this individual? Why did you leave that company? What motivated you to do business with these particular folks? Why aren't you going back to this restaurant for a second time? All those types of questions. And what we really uncovered is that people really are motivated and, shall we say, are really looking for a sense of relationship with the people with whom they do business. I think we all know that relationships drive revenue, regardless of what kind of business you're in. Mm-hmm. So this next book that'll be out on March 12th, the title of it is 100 Proven Ways to Acquire and Keep Clients for Life. And you can take the word client out and put the word customer in. I use the word client because lots of people speak in that particular language of client. They're not focused on transactions; they're focused on relationships.
Yeah.
So these are actionable steps that different businesses can take to just to hold on to that clientele.
Exactly, and to acquire business. I think we all know quite clearly that people love to talk about their experience. If you go to a good restaurant, you talk about it. If you do business with Team Lally and it's a great experience and I got my house sold, I'm going to tell somebody when they get ready to sell their house, guess what? You ought to call Team Lally because they absolutely got me what I wanted and they got it done right. So, but on the other hand, people also leave. We now know with the research we did with Reuters that 1 in 3 clients or customers, usually for one, will leave a brand, leave a company, leave a an advisor leave a real estate agent, leave their dentist after just one bad experience.
Wow.
So that's the challenge. And the reason is because people have so many options. I mean, we all know that. They have lots of places to spend their money.
Yep.
So we work with Zendesk, and what we uncovered, and that's what got me going on this book, is that 87% of people that were polled, that was 1,000 people by Zendesk, said that good and bad experiences get shared with others, and they become linked to a company or a person and their brand. So that tells us that 87% of people like to talk about their experience, if it's a bad one or a good one.
Yep.
So
now, Richard, we've seen that. I think, like in general, people are more quick to do a review, like on Yelp or Google, when they've had a bad experience versus a great experience.
Well, they say
what's been your
a negative?
Yes.
The message of a negative message will make it is faster than the fastest human being because it'll make it all the way around the world before you even tie your shoelaces.
Have you found that in your studies?
Absolutely. And that, again, is another reason I wrote 100 Proven Ways, because what we did is we talked to people.
Yeah.
You had a bad experience. How was it resolved? Oh, yeah, now you're sharing the good experience about perhaps an issue that you had with a firm or an individual or a company, as the case may be. But you're absolutely right. 87% of people share good and bad experience with others, and it becomes linked to you. So all the more reasons. So that's when I talk about 100 Proven Ways, these are really, it's what to do, followed immediately. I wrote them as number 1, number 2, number 3, and I did it in a way that this is what to do. This is why it's important and how it resonates with people. And by the way, here's exactly how to implement this into your business.
Now, these seem like some very helpful topics that, maybe you would be teaching on. I know that you've talked to some of at our team events in the past, and we are looking forward to having you come speak to our team here in the next several weeks on this topic. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, just to give you a couple of things to think about. How would that be?
Let's
give us some nuggets.
Yes.
Part the curtain a little bit.
Yeah, what got me going is when we started talking to people, we're a research-based consulting firm, as I mentioned. I speak all over the world, and I would ask people, why do you do business when you have a great experience? Why do you continue? And people said, well, I feel like I have more emotional chemistry with the company. I have a stronger relationship with that financial advisor. I really want to send my doctor more business because she did a great job for me. And really, I'm just an advocate for these people, and I want everybody in my network to know about them.
Yeah.
Well, when I started hearing that, I'm like, okay, there's some fundamentals here and some things that can be done that could be a game changer. So I began to craft those and talk about it. A couple examples. We asked people, how do you like when somebody sends you an email, what's important to you? And so many people said, I wish they had my preferred name. My name is David, but I like Dave. Or my name is Samuel. I want to be called Samuel. I had a doctor say, I'm Dr. Donna Wilson, but don't call me Donna. I earned the doctor. When it's okay to call me Donna. I have a friend of mine in Atlanta. Her name is Elizabeth. She gets crazy when somebody calls her Elizabeth because she goes by Lally. That was her nickname that her grandfather gave her because she liked lollipops.
Oh, wow.
How many of us have gotten communication, dear client, or my first name is Charles. It's C. Richard. I get lots of email, dear C. Well, what that tells me is that's not personalized. That's not human.
Yeah.
So I discarded it. When I talked to T. Boone Pickens before he passed away, he said, Richard, I never went by T. And I got all kinds of people that sent me emails and letters. Your T. It's the same when you sign your emails. If you sign your emails, people all the time sign it best. Well, I actually asked people in our intern calls, we would ask them, how do you feel about these particular, shall we say, ways that emails or letters are closed? Sincerely yours? Way too institutional. That would be something that I would expect from some institution. Nothing personal there. How do you feel about best? I will tell you, people, I can't repeat on the air what some people said over the phone.
Oh, wow.
They just feel like, best what? Best for you? I mean, people got snarky.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, well, what would you like to hear? Well, why they say warm regards or kind regards or kindest regards? Why can't they speak? This is a great point now. Why don't they speak with us instead of at us?
Yeah.
And we ask this, I'll give you one more and then we can move on. But as another example, I get this all the time. I get emails, feel free to call or reach out. Well, why would we say that? Why don't we say feel welcome to call or reach out? We polled it. 71 basis points higher, feel welcome to call or reach out. People felt like it was okay to call. Feel free to call or reach out was a throwaway line.
Yeah.
Small point. But again, we want to connect with these, shall we say, customers, clients, prospects in a way that says, we care about you, we personalize, we humanize, we engage.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was thinking back to T-Bone Pickens, if they put Mr. in the front of that, it might have gone to the guy from the A-Team. Because that was Mr. T. But everybody, I mean, the unpersonalized stuff, we go through the exercise every day when we're opening our mail. Mm-hmm. And where do we open our mail? Over the garbage can. And if you got about a half a second to grab my attention. Yep. So with a name like Attilio, I know exactly what you mean because I know a lot of people that have met me and don't know me. They personalize my name by misspelling it all kind of different ways. And then the other way is I know when they know my name and they met me, but they're not sure how to pronounce it. So my other nickname is Hey Buddy.
Yeah. Right, exactly right. That's exactly.
Hey Buddy.
Hey,
But and then it kind of like in the back of my head, I'm like, let it go. But it is like not like it creates what we call it. We have this other matrix that we use to create connection.
Yes.
So we call that creating disconnection. When
a connection killer.
That's what we call it, a connection killer. So you're talking about connection builders to avoid connection killing. Why? So let's talk about the elevated experience, and that's not just for the Otis elevator repair people. We're talking about what does that mean? An elevated experience, and why is it important?
That's a wonderful question. Because, most people think, well, I give good service. Well, good service is a minimum expectation today.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to McDonald's, of course, now fries, I think, are $3. But you spend $3 for fries and they're cold. I mean, they will replace them at no additional cost. And we were grateful. So in all of our work, I've asked people, what is an elevated experience? And what we've really uncovered is it's a perception. It's based upon how people feel and how they interpret the sum of all the interactions and desired outcomes with you and your team or your staff, how you interact with one another and interact with them. So it's really a perception, which of course makes it even harder because we have to realize everybody's perception is a little different.
Yes.
So we have to say, okay, we need to put in a baseline here of interaction with people that's personalized, humanized, gracious. There are 4 things people are looking for. They're looking for someone that's kind, gracious, caring, and empathetic. And that should be the base of your culture, of all your communications, that you want to be kind to people, you want to be caring, and you want to demonstrate empathy for them. And when you do that, the perception is you're on their side. Now I say they're the client or prospect or customer side of the table. So they feel like you're working with them to resolve or to solve, as opposed to something that is more about you and less about them.
So it's helpful? A collaborative and a team approach by using those skill sets.
Yeah,
that you just
exactly
mentioned.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's like empathy. People have a hard time with empathy, particularly when they're asking questions. But what I realized is, as a writer, and which I don't wish on anybody, it's an affliction. But I woke up in the night because I'd been really struggling with this with people. People say, "How can I be more empathetic?" And you them all kinds of psychological stuff. But I woke up in the night and I thought, it's the predicate. The predicate's what's the problem. It's not empathy; it's the predicate. You give me an example. If you don't mind me asking, how much money do you guys make? As soon as I said, if you don't mind me asking, I'm going to say now. Okay, if you don't mind me asking how much money you want to spend on a house, oh my God. If you don't mind me asking how much money you got in the bank.
Yeah.
When you use that as a predicate, which is normal, you think what you're really doing is deferring to them, but what you're doing is putting them on guard. If I flip that around and put the predicate on the back illustration, how much money do you want to invest in a house, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah.
It's a completely different tone, and you're coming at them in a different way.
Yeah.
So you're right. I ran focus groups by flipping the predicates, and 80% of the people push the button, empathy, empathy, empathy. It's the same question. We just flipped the predicate.
Okay, let me try that out. Okay, so instead of saying, if you don't mind me asking, why are you so rude? Okay, let me flip it around. You're really rude. If you don't mind, why are you so rude? If you don't mind me, no, I'm just kidding.
It doesn't work like that.
Either way, that's like a really harsh question. So no front or back end, it ain't gonna help. But
use it in a script that would be like relevant in the real estate world.
Yeah, where you're coming in with a professional question. But I want to circle back though to the 4 things you talked about: kind, graciousness, caring, empathy. Yeah. Can you explain the difference between being kind and being gracious?
Well, sure. In other words, if you think about the word kind it is a mindset that you're always going to do something on the other person's behalf. You're going to be thoughtful and considerate.
Yes.
So, as an example, if you see somebody struggling coming out of Lowe's with their cart, you could be gracious and stop and say, "Oh, you go first, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
You go first." Or you could say, "Let me get that for you." Well, if I take the cart and wheel it out to your car, people say, "Gosh, you're so kind."
Yes.
If I let you first through the door, that's being gracious. But on the other hand, if I not only let you go first, but more importantly, I help you get through the door and out to your car, that's kindness demonstrated. Another thing is to say, well, I'm very gracious. I give to the food bank. That's great. But kind people go down and work at the food bank.
Yes. That's a great example. Yeah, I think it was the Dalai Lama who said, if given the choice between being right and being kind, choose kindness. Because I think people get so fired up on being right that they win the debate or the conversation, but then the person's like, I never want to do business with you.
That's exactly right, Attilio. Yeah. I mean, that's a book. Don't get me started. I'm not writing another one.
Not for a while.
Not for a while anyway. I always say that, and the good Lord puts one in my head and gets me nuts. But anyhow, but you're exactly right. And therein lies the issue. Yeah. That people, it's just like if somebody doesn't buy, Adrienne, if I don't buy a house from you, or let's say you wanted to buy a house from me, and I'll give you a better example. I spoke this last January for a group in St. Charles, Illinois. They've invited me to come back this next year, too. But 5 years ago, they reached out for me to speak and went back and forth, and it didn't work out. So I sent them a thank you note to the CEO. I just said, thank you. I'm disappointed we're unable to do business now. Not sorry. I'm disappointed we're unable to do this now. I look forward to the opportunity to work with you and your team in the future. Always feel welcome, not feel free, welcome to reach out. Now, the reason this was important is because 5 years goes by. He asked me to come in and speak this year for his group. But when he got up on stage, he said, let me tell you while Richard Weylman's here. Yeah. And he held up that note card.
Nice. Because you know what? The words that we use matter.
Well, and you left the door open. I tell you, and when you're saying that, you're describing to me what my life belief is how you are when things are going well is not really who you are. Who you are when things aren't going well.
That's who you are.
That's really shows me who you are. And so everybody that applies for the team, I take them camping on the highest mountain, and I purposely run out of food and make sure that it's rainy and muddy. No, I don't go through all that. But Gary Keller, interesting story. Gary Keller, 20th wealthiest guy in the world. He's the owner or the CEO of Keller Williams. When he was looking for people to get into business, they would come fly into Austin, Texas, and he would take them to a restaurant, and he would give instructions to the waiter to screw up their order. And the people that berated and flipped out on the service staff, he would finish the lunch, he would be polite, but he would not get into business with them.
There you go. What a great
and that's a true story.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I think it's wonderful because to your point, it's who you are when nobody's around or who you are when things are going well.
Yeah.
Those are the things that are, shall we say, define how you're going to interact with people.
Yeah. I think our greatest, for Adrienne and I, our greatest learning opportunities, we're not perfect. We're not for everybody.
Mm-hmm. And that's okay.
And that's okay. And so when we're going up against competing for business with other agents, there are some times where they decide to go with another realtor. And I always circle back and just say, hey, feedback is a gift. We're always looking for ways to improve. I'm not trying to trick you into going with us. I just want to know if there's any blind spots or opportunities for growth that we have that you could be so gracious to share with us. I will not take it personally. Please, please, please share with us the feedback on why you decided to not go with us and what did the other agent do that knocked it out of the park? Because we want to learn. So
that's brilliant. It's right under what else can I do for you today?
Yeah.
You know, and I'll give you a secondary point you might think about too. For anybody in business, if you're in the air conditioning business and you do the reply, and a great repair for this company and this couple, and then you can say, put something on Yelp. But wouldn't it be better if I picked up the phone and I called that couple and said, you know, I really appreciate the fact we did business. What else could we have done to elevate the experience you had with us?
Ooh,
that's a nice one.
And you get great nuggets. I mean, people say, well, it was really good. But, you know, if it was me, and you get the, now, obviously they're anecdotal, but what it is insight on the, shall we say, the buyer's perspective.
Yeah.
Whether it's whatever your type of business. So, you know, that's what else could we do to elevate your experience with me and the team? And, of course, in the real estate business, that would be a very useful as well because it gives you great insight into the individual.
Yeah, our president will go out and check on those situations and find out what we can do better. And what I find is that
the quality control.
Quality control. Here's what I find is that a lot of business people that I talk to about something like that are afraid that the client's going to ask for the moon, the stars, and everything above. But I would say most of the time it's something small or tiny that can be corrected.
A little tweak that you can make.
Yes. Because everybody's afraid to be like, we did terrible in what? We got to get better at what? No, you got to be open to it, yeah?
Exactly right. You can't get better if you don't get input. And I write about this in 100 Proven Ways to Acquire and Keep Clients for Life.
Yeah.
Specific that you get that feedback, but don't comment and say, well, we couldn't do anything. I can tell you that right now, Miss Murphy, we wouldn't be able to. What you need to do is take the information and make it happen. I've got a guy in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's called a massive business, and he's asking clients at that very point. He had a lot of individuals that he met with during the winter that were either widows or elderly and couples, and they didn't like driving in the winter. They hated it, driving through the snow. So what did he do? He got with a car service company, and this was even with Uber. He said, I don't want to use Uber. I'm going to send a car for him.
Nice.
His business exploded because they start telling their friends, well, no, Greg doesn't send Uber.
Yeah.
He's got a car service, and this guy comes and picks us up in a Cadillac SUV, four-wheel drive, and takes us to the office. Well, game changer in perception, but it would have never happened had he not started asking the question, what else can we do to elevate the experience, or is there anything else we can do, to your point?
And I know they did a follow-up survey with this client. These clients are so dedicated to this guy. They actually had the company logo tattooed on their shoulders.
They're clients for life.
They are clients for life.
That's right.
Yeah, I would say that's right. Speaking of clients for life, one other suggestion. In Sarasota, Florida, I have a home there, as you know, and because I travel a lot all over the world speaking. So having a home here and having a home there, I'm kind of bipolar in the sense of going around the world, or bi-global, I guess. It works, but there's a little company there that's no longer little. They now, I think, are at 9 locations. But I can tell you on August 4th, 5 years ago, I bought my first donut there. And the reason I did is because it's right next to the police station. It's a little tiny donut shop, very Hawaiian name, and the name of it is 50 Donut Company. And their shall we say, value promised is arrestingly good donuts. And they are crazy.
Do they have a Bookham Dano donut?
Like that, right, exactly. Bookham Dano. Anyhow, I went there and bought a donut August 4th. This will be 6 years coming up now in 24. And the reason I know that, because every August 4th I get a text from them.
Yes.
Congratulations on being a loyal customer. $5 off your next order.
Wow.
I'm not a big donut guy, but that's a big deal. But it blows my mind that I go out and I get my air conditioning. Now, my air conditioning guy here in Hawaii is really good.
Yeah.
I get an anniversary card from him. But people make investments. They go to the bank. They buy real estate. They have all types of things they do, interactions with companies, and they never hear from them again. What a great time to remind people, congratulations, another successful year as a client of ours at Team Lally. Come get your pot, whatever. But those are the things that people remember.
Yes.
To your point about how do you make it continue, and because remember, as we said earlier, it's relationships that drive revenue.
Yeah.
Always has, always will. There's lots of choices out there in a commoditized world. So people are going to have an experience. You're the ones, as a business owner, sales professional, marketing assistant, receptionist, you're the one that decides what that experience is going to be.
Yeah, we call him the director of first impressions. But Adrienne, you got a last question?
Oh, I was just going to say, Richard, we are going to be wrapping up the show. So if there's any last and final thoughts you want to share with our listeners, now is the chance to do it.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Hold your peace, as they say. Well, first things first, thank you both very much. It's such a blessing to hear your voices and be together again. That's great. If you're interested, you can go Amazon. You have to type in the title because they haven't even got the cover finished yet.
Okay.
But for the book, but you can just go to Amazon and type in 100 Proven Ways to Acquire, and it'll pop right up. You'll see my other books there too, but you can order. They're shipping it on March the 12th. And I know that you will. It'll be an opportunity for you to get the first edition of the book. The most important thing, though, in all of this is, I think Maya Angelou's perhaps, she famously and accurately has been given credit for saying, I've learned that people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but they never, ever forget how you made them feel.
That's
right. And that's exactly where people are today.
Yeah.
You know, this pandemic made people realize that the relationships they have with providers, with professionals, even with their own families, is the key to a fulfilling life. And they want to work with people that they feel really are personalizing, humanizing, they're kind, they're caring, they're gracious, and they're empathetic. That's what people are looking for providers today, regardless of what business or profession you're in. Yeah. Thank you both very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard. And all of our listeners, go to Amazon and type
go
that.
Go to the book right now.
Yes,
and then
type it in 100 Proven Ways to Acquire and Keep Clients for Life.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard. We appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you all very much. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Aloha.
Aloha.
All right. So again, Richard Weylman, he's an amazing speaker, trainer, author. Order his book today.
Yeah. He can levitate off the ground at least 1 foot. He's so awesome.
Yes.
I don't know if that last part's true, but...
Well, thank you for listening, and thank you to our sponsors.
Jody and Derek of Pacific Rim Mortgage.
Bradley with Allstate Insurance.
Kenji with Pillar to Post Home Inspections.
John with Kilauea Pest Control.
Duke with Hawaii Pacific Property Management.
Robinson of the Fine Line Paintwork.
Jake the Snake with Skyta Construction Roofing and Solar.
Scott with Zero Res Hawaii.
Amphy with the Estate Planning Group.
Jason Wu, Attorney at Law.
Jeff with the Loan Depot.
Rhino of Hawaii Unified.
Kenny with the Badfish Carpentry.
Janice of Dreamhouse Drafting.
If you want to get a hold of any of our sponsors, just go to teamlally.com.
We also want to give a big thank you to Leah Rodriguez, our producer here in the studio.
Chee-hoo!
Make sure to tune in next week. We'll have an awesome guest talking about something that'll change your life
forever. This is the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the guaranteed
sold program. If we can't sell your home at agreed upon price and our time frame, we'll have it bought for cash. Thanks and aloha.
The preceding program was sponsored by Team Lally.